Alright, so this episode this week, we got Canon for 10 minutes. Just 10 wonderful, delicious minutes of Canon. I noticed the intro was new. They had Itachi at the end catching the that crystal and then throwing it at the audience, saying, "Here, have some more filler." Anyway, it starts out with Sasuke and Naruto and all of them. They're under the Susanoo. They're protected from all those dream fillers, so they don't have to go through any of the fillers. They're completely safe. Sakura asks Sasuke, like, "Oh, what's going on out there?" And then Sasuke, being the douche, is like, "Oh, you don't need to know, because you can't do anything about it." And Kakashi asks the same thing, and Sasuke's like, "Kakashi, you're in the same position as Sakura. You're worthless. You can't do crap." So basically, it's Sasuke being a douche, which is pretty normal, and I guess he's pretty tense because, you know, it's only him and Naruto versus Madara out there anymore. Kakashi understands that he is basically worthless. He's out of chakra, he doesn't have the Sharingan anymore, he's just kind of there now. And so he tells Sasuke, "You know what? I'm naming you the leader of Team 7 for now. You're the leader of this group, and you call the shots." And Naruto wasn't too happy with that, because in Naruto's eyes, Kakashi's way more capable of being a leader than Sasuke is, which is kind of true because Kakashi's brilliantly smart, really good fighter. It's just he can't do anything right now. He can't fight. So while all that's going on, it slowly zooms into everyone else's dreams. Now this is how it was supposed to be. This is how I would have preferred it. If they had everyone's dreams, but like a minute or two of the dream. And it just showed snippets of everyone's dream. It had Hinata's dream. She's with Naruto and they're in love or whatever. And it shows Neji there, whatever, getting angry about it behind the bushes, staring at them. Kiba is Hokage in his dream, and he's naming Dog Day as the official holiday. And everyone in the whole village gets a dog. Choji's eating his fill of all the food he could ever want, while his beautiful wife is cooking his food for him. The Mizukage is getting married to some dude I've never seen before in my life. Sai is super happy. He's comfortable with his emotions. Just a ton of really interesting dreams that I would have preferred to see them this way instead of what we got. The best dream by far was Gaara's dream, because his was the most pure, I guess, because everyone else's was very self-absorbed, very like what they wanted, but Gaara's was very like, it was his childhood, him being a kid with his family, the way that a normal family would have been if he wasn't a Jinchuriki. And Naruto comes over, and the person that Gaara looked up to, I can't remember his name, the one that tried to kill Gaara in the canon. He's there, he's saying, "Lord Gaara, someone's here to see you." It's Naruto. Naruto wants to go and play with Gaara out, and they go out into the fields, and they're just running around playing tag or whatever. It was really nice. It was sad that that's not what the life that Gaara would have had, or should have had, and what he got instead was just full of darkness and hatred, pretty much. Anyways, after we see all their dreams, it goes back to Sasuke and them, and Sasuke decides, "You know what? I think I should have some filler too." So he props his head up, and he puts himself into the filler only. He basically, like, "You know what? I want some filler. We're gonna get some filler now of his brother." Okay, so now we're in the Itachi filler arc, everyone. So now, until I've heard it's 9 episodes long. I hope it's 9 episodes, because that's not that many. Should go by quick, and we should get right back into canon, because I don't want to see any of this. I like Itachi, but I'm so sick of filler. I had such a long time. It's so long of filler right now, and I'm just, no more. Please, no more. But it starts off with Itachi. He sees the war going on, the Third Great Ninja War. Everyone's killing each other, stabbing, brutal, like, cutting their chests open. I mean, it's pretty, like, horrible. Blood splatters everywhere, explosions. Itachi witnesses all of this. Like, I think in canon, he witnesses it at, like, age 4, I believe. But for some reason in the filler, they made him, like, 7 years old or whatever. The battle's over, and Itachi goes to help this dude who's dying of thirst, and he helps the guy, and the guy realizes that Itachi is not of his village. So he goes to kill Itachi. Itachi just slices his neck without even looking, which was pretty awesome. And his father comes up and tells Itachi to keep the memory of all of this death and horribleness embedded into his mind. Never forget what war is. And this is what starts to develop Itachi's his emotions, the way he thinks, the way he perceives everything. He starts seeing life and death as a horrible thing. Like, death is horrible. What is the meaning of life? And he wonders this at the funerals of all these shinobi. So he sees Orochimaru there. So who's the best person of the Hokage, the fourth Hokage, third Hokage, all those people, who's the best person to ask these questions to? Orochimaru. Orochimaru he's the best one, of course. Why wouldn't you want to ask Orochimaru? So anyways, he goes to Orochimaru and asks him, what is the meaning of death? What is the meaning? And Orochimaru says death is pointless or whatever. It's nothing. And he's like, well, what is the meaning of life? And Orochimaru says the meaning of life is pointless, it's meaningless, unless it is immortal, unless you can live forever. Then you can have a goal, then you can make it meaningful, but otherwise it's worthless. And of course, it's weird because we know Orochimaru at this point in time, he's starting to go into the path that he takes later in the story. So he's already having that mindset, and poor Itachi, these thoughts that Orochimaru put into his head messes with him so much that Itachi decides to kill himself. He literally stands at the edge of the cliff and says, life is meaningless, and just drops off the cliff. And as he's falling to his death, a crow flies by and kind of like startles him, wakes him up, and realizes what he's doing. He saves himself, and the animation in this part was really interesting, how they had the rocks going up as he's falling, trying to catch himself. I really liked how they did that. The animation in general was pretty good. Much better than it was in the fillers, so it's looking pretty bright for the future of this filler. Itachi gets surrounded by the crows after this, and it's like a meaningful moment of like growth. Like, he's now feeling like maybe he should keep living, maybe there is some meaning he will find later in life. And the meaning of life comes when Sasuke is born, and he sees this baby, and he sees that it's not death. All he's seen is death, and now finally he gets to see life from the beginning. It helps with his way of thinking and how he was thinking about death and life and how life was horrible, and now it says life is beautiful because something beautiful came out of it. Later down the road, it has Itachi with a bunch of his, I guess, classmates or whatever, and there's this girl there that I guess is going to be his future girlfriend, which is going to be so sad if they start getting more into that, because we all know that he kills her. So I wonder how they're going to do that. But anyways, he's with his classmates. He's kind of still depressed about stuff, and he's just walking along and like, hey, you want to play something with us? He's like, he just kind of ignores them and walks off. And they see it as him being a jerk because he says, I have Shuriken training. And it's like he's a show-off to everybody because he's from the Uchiha clan, the elite clan, and he's just blowing them off. So they pick up rocks and they throw rocks at him, which is the most stupid thing. Why would you throw rocks at somebody just for dissing you? I mean, let him go. You don't have to throw rocks at him, but Itachi's dodging all those rocks like it's nothing. Till eventually he picks one up, throws it, and it deflects the ones in the air and hits the rock from one of the people's hands. So epic, epic moment for Itachi. But he walks off, he goes home. It goes to the part where the mom and the dad, they leave home to do whatever they're going to do, leaving Itachi to take care of baby Sasuke. So now we're entering the night of the Nine Tails attack with the Masked Man. So we see him getting ready to attack, and that's where it leaves off. Hopefully they skip over that part because we've seen this attack, the Nine Tails attack, over and over and over from canon to fillers. We've seen it in the video games. So hopefully they skip over this, and from the previews it looks like they do. It looks like they kind of go into his later years where he starts talking to the girl more, and he meets Shisui Uchiha, so that'll be really cool. Anyways, I'll give this episode probably an 80%. It was actually really good for a filler. Even though I'm looking forward to these fillers, I don't want any fillers. I would rather have none of these than have to wait to go for the story, the actual story canon. They could have easily done these fillers after the story ended, but I feel like they know that if they did it that way, that nobody would be watching the anime, I guess. So they're doing it now to force us to wait, so they keep getting those views and that money. Hopefully these fly by, and hopefully they're good. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, and have yourselves a great one.